Transpulmonary pressure. This one here. Transpulmonary pressure. Number 5 is the transrespiratory pressure. This one here, transrespiratory pressure. Number 6 is the transthoracic pressure. Okay. So how many do we have? 6. All of this pressure changes during inspiration and expiration. But let's look at their meaning before we can now begin to relate them or link them to inspiration and expiration. That is what happens to these pressures during respiration. So the question you want to ask is, what is atmospheric pressure? Names have meaning. Atmospheric. Atmospheric pressure is the pressure that is in the atmosphere. That pressure is the pressure that is in the atmosphere. The normal value of atmospheric pressure is 760 millimeters of mercury. Atmospheric pressure is the pressure in the atmosphere. That is the pressure that is in this hall. All right? The atmosphere is known as atmospheric pressure. And normal value is 760 millimeters of what? Mercury. But in the respiratory tract, atmospheric pressure is 0 millimeters of what? Mercury. Did you catch that? I said atmospheric pressure is the pressure in the atmosphere, and the normal value is 760 millimeters of mercury. But in the respiratory tract, that pressure is not seen as 760 millimeters of mercury. It is 0 millimeters of what? Mercury. Hold that thought. You want to ask why, how? We shall come to that. The next one is the intrapulmonary pressure. What is intrapulmonary pressure? The word pulmonary simply means the lungs. So the intrapulmonary pressure is the pressure that is in the lungs, the one that is inside the lungs. Look, over here you have atmospheric pressure, the one in the atmosphere. And then inside the lungs, this is the lungs, you have intrapulmonary what? Pressure. See the arrow from here to here. So that pressure is the pressure that is right inside your lungs. Normal value of the intrapulmonary pressure is 760 millimeters of mercury. The normal value of the intrapulmonary pressure is 760 what? Millimeters of mercury. But in the lungs, this pressure is also what? 0 millimeters of mercury. How do we come about that? Mathematically speaking, the intrapulmonary pressure is the difference of intrapulmonary pressure and atmospheric pressure. So what nonsense am I talking about? Intrapulmonary pressure is the difference of atmospheric pressure and intrapulmonary pressure. So if you have atmospheric pressure, we use that as PATM as atmospheric pressure. All right? Minus what? Intrapulmonary pressure. You have what? P intrapulmonary pressure. That is a mathematical representation. Atmospheric pressure minus the pressure in the lungs. What is the value for atmospheric pressure? 760. 760 is the value for atmospheric pressure. What is the value for intrapulmonary pressure? Good. So 760 minus 760 is what? 0. Okay, if you want to use their values inside the respiratory tract, what is the value for atmospheric pressure? 0. What is the value for intrapulmonary pressure? What? In the lungs? 0. So you have 0 minus 0. What? 0. Good. All right. The next pressure we have here is the intrapleural pressure. Intrapleural pressure. Intrapleural pressure is the pressure inside the pleural cavity. Intrapleural pressure. The pressure that is inside the pleural cavity. So this pressure here is known as the intrapleural pressure. Where is the pleural cavity? Between what? Between the visceral pleural and the parietal what? Pleural. Okay, so this cavity here, this space here, all of this space is the pleural cavity, and the pressure that is inside the pleural cavity is known as the intrapleural what? Pressure. Good. The normal value of intrapleural pressure is 756 millimeters of what? Mercury. 756 millimeters of mercury. Mathematically speaking, the intrapleural pressure is the difference between intrapleural pressure itself and the what? Atmospheric pressure. mathematically.